Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Writer's Chat. We're so glad to have you with us today. My name is Johnny Alexander. I'm one of the co-hosts. I'm here with Brandy. It rhymes with snow. How do I pronounce snow? And I totally forgot how to pronounce snow for a minute. So glad she's here with us too as a co-host. And we have two special guests who are also part of our Writer's Chat community. And we're glad to have them sharing their expertise with us. Today, we're going to be talking about Color Me Perfectly, all about brands and colors and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're here today with Rhonda Dragomir. Rhonda, she's been fascinated with knights, castles, and all things Scottish. Lives out her own fairy tale life in central Kentucky. She has published stories in 5 Chicken Soup for the Soul anthologies, which is actually quite the coup because that is not an easy market to break into. The competition's very fierce. She was named Serious Writers Writer of the Year in 2019. Rhonda is represented by Linda Glaz of the Hartline Literary Agency, and she's currently pursuing publication of her debut novel, a 16th century historical romance, and I have read at least part of it, and it is wonderful. Rhonda writes stories that reveal God is more than a concept or a disinterested deity. He is a loving father who wants a personal relationship with the people he loves. And joining Rhonda in this presentation is Jann Martin. Very glad to have Jann with us too, and all that she does behind the scenes with Writer's Chat. Jann is an author, proofreader, teacher, speaker, and blogger. Her dream is to captivate the hearts of children by writing stories that teach them of the Bible through the eyes of a child. She has a BA in early elementary education from Michigan State University and a retired commissioned associate in ministry from Trinity Lutheran Seminary. She served as youth leader, evangelism leader at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church for 5 years, and as the director of family ministry at Faith Community Presbyterian Church for 4 years. Jann wrote curriculum for children and adults on several different topics. Her first published book is This Babe So Small, the Nativity Told Through the Eyes of the Innkeeper's Daughter, released by Elk Lake Publishing in 2015, is Bible Characters Through the Ages, where 2 time-traveling children build a time travel machine called Yahweh's Express and go back to meet different biblical characters. Book 1, Adam in the Garden. Book 2, Meeting Eve. Book 3, Watching David and Goliath. Book 4, The Amazing Esther. Book 5, Isaac and His Family. And Book 6, Jacob's Journey. What a wonderful, wonderful series. So, ladies, welcome. And we're just going to turn it over to you and let you take it away. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate the intro and letting us do this today. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yeah.
Color is the way you can evoke emotion. The right use of color can bring about emotions in people that can be powerful. Look out your window. What do the colors you see make you feel? I see blue sparkling water and green grass. This makes me feel calm. A good web designer or book cover designer can draw you in with the best use of color for you. You can have different effects from different shades of the same color. You need to know what the color the emotion gives and what you want your audience to feel. Here are some differences between a color shade and its impact on web design. Usually, brighter shades tend to be more energetic, while darker shades feel more relaxing. The brighter shades of calls to action attract the eye, while the darker shades and backgrounds help create an immersive effect. Red can be playful and stimulating, passionate, aggressive, or important. As a dominating color, red adds gravity and heightened awareness. Quite literally, it can increase blood pressure, breathing rate, and metabolism. Red can take on a variety of meanings associated with both love and war, but the unifying factor in all the meanings is a sense of importance. Think of the red carpet. Red is the best color used cautiously. Its knack for attracting attention makes it a priceless tool for designers. But used excessively, it will inhibit relaxation. Lighter shades emphasize the energetic aspects of red, including youthfulness, while darker shades emphasize power and even durability, such as a brick wall. Orange. Sharing red's energizing aspects, orange is a good way to add excitement to a site without severity. It is generally playful, and some say it causes haste and plays on impulse. It can even signify health, suggesting vitality and vibrance. It can give a feeling of playfulness and youthfulness. Yellow. Yellow can be revitalizing or jarring, also happy, friendly, or as a warning. Yellow is a strange color. It is often associated with happiness, but also activates anxiety center of your brain. Like red and but use the bright yellow sparingly because of the potential negative connotations. Lighter shades play on the happiness aspects, reminding users of summer and the sun. Darker shades, including gold, add more weight and give a sense of antiquity. It can create energetic vibe and be instantly recognizable as a particular brand. Green. It is a natural, stable, and can show prosperousness. Green mostly represents the environment and outdoors. It's the clear choice to suggest nature and organic quality. Green is the most balanced of colors, lending it an air of stability. It's also a popular choice as an accent or for calls to action because it stands out. In Western culture, it also represents money and financial safety. Blue. Blue is serene, trustworthy, and inviting. Blue is one of the most popular colors in the web design, and for good reason. You see blue on a lot of websites because it is the color of trust. Blue is the color of calm and serenity and inspires security and a feeling of safety. For this reason, blue is a color often used by banks. Citibank, Chase, Capital One, and Barclays, for example, all use blue. However, the calming effects also make blue a friendly and inviting color, which explains its adoption by Facebook and Twitter. Blue is also incredibly versatile. Its vibrancy has more drastic effects than other colors. Light blue is the color of water and the sky, so it has a refreshing and free feeling, and can be even energizing if bright enough, while still remaining calm. Darker blues tend to be more somber, heightening the security aspects, which makes them an excellent choice for professionalism. All this comes at a small price, though. Blue shouldn't be used for food-related sites because blue foods aren't common in the wild. Studies show that blue acts as an appetite repressant. Purple. Purple has links to wealth. It is luxurious, mysterious, and romantic. Long associated with royalty, purple creates an air of luxury, even decadence. Using purple dominantly creates a sense of elegance or high-end appeal. Lighter shades of purple, especially lavender, bring to mind spring and romance. Darker shades add more mystery and can even symbolize creativity. Pink. Pink creates a soft mood. It is feminine, young, and shows innocence. Pink is a specialist color that won't work for a lot of websites, but will work perfectly with the right audience. Because most people think of pink as feminine, the color is popular for targeting female users. However, don't overdo it. You may walk a fine line between appealing to users and zeroing into gender stereotypes. Its links with childhood and with sugary treats give pink a sweet, sometimes innocent appeal. It is also traditionally used with love and romantic themes, alongside red and light purple. Brown. Brown is earthy, sturdy, and rustic. It's not a popular choice in web design. If used under the right circumstances, it can be effective. As the color associated with earth and trees, brown can add an outdoorsy feel, maximized by a pairing with green. The tree also gives a sturdy and reliable feeling. In web design, brown is often used in conjunction with wood texturing, giving the same old-fashioned and rustic atmosphere as a wood cabin. Black. Black creates a powerful, sophisticated, and edgy website. As the strongest of all colors, black is often used only sparingly as text, but it works quite well as a primary color element like backgrounds. It adds an air of sophistication and elegance, and also a mystery, though with much bolder confidence. White. An off-white background keeps the focus on the subject. It's clean, virtuous, and healthy. White is the opposite of black and pairs well with just about anything, making it ideal as a secondary color. In a supporting role, white draws out the elements of more stimulating colors and can even guide your user's attention if you know how to use it. As a primary color, though, white gives off an impression that is both clean and chaste. White has that spotless feeling. For the right side, feels completely effortless. In association with purity, can make it seem virtuous, but also sterile and cold. To soften this feeling of sterility, some web designers will tend toward ivory or cream instead. These offshoots of white are softer and even less noticeable, but with the same minimalist and complementary aspects, they are more comforting and less stark alternatives to white. Gray is neutral, formal, and can be gloomy. As an intermediary between black and white, gray exudes neutrality or a lack of any particular sensation. However, in the hands of an expert, this intermediary position can be a powerful tool. By varying the vibrancy, gray can take on the properties of either black or white, attention-grabbing or repelling. To specific degrees. That means if black is too powerful for your design, try dark gray. If white is too bland, try light gray. On its own, it is the color of formality, so sites aiming to look traditional or professional tend to favor it. It can also give a depressing vibe, as it's the color of gloomy, rainy days. When used dominantly, it can be somewhat subdued, for better or worse. Beige can create a calming backdrop to accentuate surrounding colors. Beige may not be a primary color, but it's worth mentioning because of its accentuating effects. It takes on the characteristics of the colors around it. While dull on its own, its enhancing effects make it a powerful choice as a background or secondary color. I'll put the link to the website I used in the chat for you. There's a lot more information you can find there. Now Rhonda will show you how to use these colors to make your brand sing.
Thank you, Jan. That was so informative. And I think as you were, I don't know if you're like me, but I was thinking of different images and places I've been, websites I've seen, and there's a lot of information there that's really useful. And before I dive into how to generate a color scheme, that's really what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to teach you how colors are used and different ways that you can choose colors that reflect what you want to say. I want to tell you there's a great post on the Steve Lobby Agency blog this week that if you have not seen it, you simply must log in to the Steve Lobby Agency and read. It talks about changes that are coming in Facebook. And it emphasizes that more and more, you must own your platform. You need to build your platform on a site that you own, that you control the content. We've all seen what's happening with social media. It's trending in ways that are antithetical to what we believe in our belief system. People who believe Christianity and espouse Christian beliefs are getting censored and banned. And there's just a lot of unrest out there. It's turning into the Wild West out there. Me and my Broncos and manure, you know how I am with all that stuff. But the truth is we need to build an attractive website and start hosting our newsletter from our website, getting people to our website, and because it's real estate that we own. And it's really important that that website reflects you and your writing and your brand. And we've talked a lot about branding. I'm not going to take time to explain that, but if you don't know about branding, just get on some of our past Writers Chat episodes, especially with Bethany, where she talks about branding. And all branding is a visual representation of you. So when people see me, what do I want them to see? I have experience and background as a web designer, as a graphic designer and artist, and I've used some of that to help a friend who's actually here today in developing her brand. And I want to walk you through this process that we did together. Tracy Crump and I, she's the yin to my yang. I tell you, I really need her advice, and she has steered me the right direction, and she's not afraid to wrap my knuckles when I need it. And she has really been one of those friends that sharpens me like iron sharpens iron. And so I invited Tracy today, and I'm going to describe the process that we used in choosing. I recently designed a book cover. She has a book release in June. It's a wonderful book, and I'm excited to share this process with you because some of you will be going through this very same process. So a color theme. You say, well, Rhonda, what is a color theme and why is a color theme important? I like blue, can't I just throw up blue? Well, you heard Jann's representation of blue, and there are lots of shades of blue. Think of, Duke blue versus Carolina blue. If you were in North Carolina, where there's a huge difference between those two blues, right? And that each of them says a different thing. So when you use consistent colors throughout all of your social media and your website and your online accounts, it makes them memorable and it makes them unified. A color theme, usually I recommend choosing 5 colors. Some people start out with only 3, but I recommend 5 because to develop a good website, you need enough variety to keep it interesting. Those colors, I'm going to talk to you about different types of color schemes a little bit later. But you need to know that a good color scheme is appropriate to your genre. It communicates the mood of your writing, and it evokes the emotions that you've chosen to highlight. And I think we'll illustrate this process as I go through and talk to you about how Tracy and I work together to develop her brand. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, I'm going zippity-doo-dah right to the end, okay? Because you can watch the replay to really catch some of what I'm saying. But I've got a lot of real estate to cover in about 35 minutes here to do it. So we're going to just zip on right through this. First of all, you need to know the color scheme that's appropriate for your genre. And I'm going to share my screen right now because I want to take you on a little tour. Can you see my screen? You probably can, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Well, you're gonna see some things here that are a little weird right now. That's my background. Castle, can you believe it? Okay. That's part of my brand. Okay. Here's Tracy's website. current website. And I will say that we are working on a redesign. And that redesign is going to change things a little bit. But this is where she is right now. Can everyone see this? And what I did, the process I did, and there's her book cover. The process we did in developing this site was to develop this banner image first, okay? And then as you can see, it's just kind of like decorating your living room. You take a piece of artwork, and out of it you pull colors. So we pulled out the blue of the sky. We pulled out the yellow that's here in the book. We pulled out some green. Do you see how that all starts to work together? And my notes are going to be here. You can follow along if you've got really good spectacles. So I want to show you some different color themes of different writers, and you're going to start to see that the genre really matters. Now, I'm going to pull this down a little bit here because I can't get to my controls. There we are. All right, so I want you to see, let's say you write romance. Here is Francine Rivers' website, okay? And what do you see here? Somebody that's still online with me. You guys unmute yourself. What do you see as I scroll down through here?
Blue, pink.
Blue, pink. Look at her book covers. Okay, so
flowers. Yep.
Romance tends to use softer colors. Contemporary romance uses brighter colors. Historical romance tends to use grayed down colors. That hue can get grayed down so that it's a little more subtle. Here is Christy Barrett. Does anybody know what Christy Barrett writes? She writes romantic suspense. I went on a Christy Barrett reading binge and loved every minute. So she writes romantic suspense. Now, what happened to the colors on this versus Francine?
They're
Very
brighter.
good contrast.
They're brighter. They do contrast a lot more. There's a lot more use of dark colors. Now, she has chosen this black. Remember what Jann said about black bringing drama? She has chosen this teal and black as her basic colors. But then look how that teal and black is not so much in all of her book colors, but some of her recent ones. There it is, and that's romantic suspense. Now, I'm going to take you to Stephen James. Some of you might have attended a workshop with Stephen James. Stephen James writes kind of thrillers. Let me see if he's coming up. Now, I will tell you, Stephen, if you're watching, your website takes an awful long time to load, and that can be a real problem. In fact, we may be skipping that today because his website is just not going to come up.
Big images, probably.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it probably is images. And folks, if you have visitors to your site, how many of you would have given up by now? Raise your hand. I would have given up. I know, and I have a zooming fast computer. Okay, so it's not the memory or the speed of my computer, and he's just not going to come up. I'm sorry, but it is Stephen James with a V.net. You can look there and see, and what you would see is that his website, he's got a book coming out and featuring a book. He's chosen these dark, kind of moody colors because he writes thrillers. Here is a website of someone, not a Christian writer as far as I know, but this is a children's writer. And tell me what you see about the color that he's, I said all of that, and now that's not going to work either. Maybe it is me. All right. Maybe I need to stop talking and click. Okay. What do you see here?
Oh, wow. Primary colors.
Bright primary colors for kids.
Writer. Children's love bright primary colors. This is an award-winning children's writer named Eric Carle. He has it's a rainbow of colors, right? Because kids like a lot of colors. And so you see how color communicates right away who this writer is. And his choice of images are really excellent too. One last one I want to show you. How many of you have ever heard of a writer named James Patterson?
Oh, yeah.
I've all heard of James Patterson, okay? Well, he writes books for adults, but he also writes kids' books. And he has a dual website. I just want to show you. Here is his website, Books for Adults. Okay, what do you see here? I've never read any of his books, I hate to say. But obviously, what do you think he writes just as I scroll down through there?
I think he writes mystery.
I'd say it's mystery or thrillers, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I go back and go into where his kids' books are, guess what's going to change? The colors change. And what has he done? He's gone, oh, he wants me to sign up for his newsletter. What's he done? He's gone back to those bright primary colors, just like the children's writer did. My illustration here is that your genre matters. Now, Tracy writes nonfiction, devotionals. She's written a lot. I have 5. Tracy has like 19. Chicken for the soup. I think that's right. Stories. And so she writes inspirational nonfiction. So what we've done for her new brand that we're going to do, I'm going to show you. Step 1 in creating your own brand, I recommend finding a theme photo. Now, Tracy told me when we started working together, Google, all right, that she wanted a dove. She liked the dove. She told me she kind of likes blue. Blue is one of her favorite colors. And Tracy, if you wanted to unmute and come on, you could come on and do that and help me comment here. But I went to Google and I did dove. And I just plunked it in. Now, guess what I get? Dove soap, which is blue and gold. All right. But I come over here on my browser. I'm going to look at images. All right. And here, what do you see? You see what I see? I see a bunch of doves. And there may be images here that work. There may be images that don't. I really didn't want a real dove. So I'm going to do my search. I'm going to do Holy Spirit, because the reason I think Tracy liked the dove is because we all know that the Holy Spirit is often represented like a dove. Oh, now look how my search changed. Do you see all these neat images? Now I want to talk to you about something. Not all of these images can you just grab and use, because if you do, you might be violating copyright. And you can't say, well, it's on her website, so I can put it on my website, because she may not have obeyed the law, right? So you need to look carefully at the licensing of these images. Let's say that I like this image. If I click on it in my browser, it brings me up, it tells me it's an Adobe stock image. Now, Adobe stock images is where I went to get Tracy's image. And I want to just bring it up to you and show you the one that I found that she really likes, and that is not it. Here it is over here. This is the photo we found that we really liked. All right, can you see that?
I fell in love with it immediately.
Tracy, just something about it, and I know Tracy, we've worked together before, so I knew she would probably prefer something that is art and not a real dove, right? She wanted blue. Look at the spectrum of colors. It's more than just one color or 2 colors. See the image we were looking at here? What do you see? Blue and white, right? So what do I see here? I see blue, I see teal, I see white, I see gray, I see several colors of teal. This was a very attractive image. And I will tell you, sometimes it is worth buying an image. And I sent links to Melissa. There are free images you can find, and she's going to put these links in the chat. So if you don't get them, I'm going to zoom. Okay, here we go. There's a site called Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-S. There's one called Unsplash. There's one called Pixabay. Those 3 websites, if I'm looking for free images like that, I don't want to pay a lot of money for my website. That's what I do. But guess what? These royalty free does not mean grab it and use it anywhere you want. Royalty free means certain things you can do with it free. But most of the time, if you want to use it like on a book cover, like we were going to do, you have to pay a license to use it on something you're going to sell. I don't sell my website. But if I was going to put this image on a book cover, which is what we did, I had to buy the image. The same can be true of fonts. Some fonts are free, some are licensed. So you have to be careful to keep yourself out of trouble. So we identified this image, I bought the rights to it as part of my service to Tracy. She hired me. I didn't just do this as a friend. She's a very conscientious person. She hired me to do this because this is my business. So we found this image. So now what can we do with this image? Let me just show you what we can do. All right, we're back to Tracy's website here. I want to show you different ways that you can choose color schemes. And the first way I'm going to show you is using Canva. How many of you use Canva? Lots of people like Canva. You may not know this, but you can generate color schemes using Canva. If you look here, I'm at canva.com/colors. You can do a color palette generator, okay? So it says upload a photo and we'll tell you what color scheme to use. How many of you say, yay, I would love to do that? Well, here's how you do that. You upload your image. I found my image. I'm going to upload this image here and bring it in. And there's Tracy's image. Do you see it? That's her book cover image. And look what it did.
Oh, wow.
It gave me a color scheme.
That's
now,
cool.
I didn't really choose those colors, so I'm going to show you a different tool that will let you choose them. But, and these would not be the colors I would have chosen necessarily, especially two grays. I'm like, bleh, okay, I don't really want two grays. But here, this jungle mist, it gives me a code. Now let me talk to you. Every color for print or for viewing online has something called a hex code. How many of you have ever heard of a hex code?
Yes.
Hexadecimal code, all right? It is a combination of 6 letters or numbers that indicates that code. And now Canva threw the name Jungle Mist on this color. And it's got a hex code B9CED8. So I'm going to just get that little code and I'm going to copy it, Control C, all right? But down here, later on, it's going to give me ideas that I can use. It's going to show me Canva images, templates that kind of, according to them, follow that color scheme a little bit, all right? So you can explore with this tool some different ways of using that. But you can also look at this button, create a custom color palette. Now, here's my color wheel. Those of you that don't know what a color wheel is, it's spelled COLORWHEEL. Google it, all right? Color wheel is just a way of communicating colors. And it started with this kind of bright teal. That's not my color. But guess what, right? And I paste the hex code that I colored, and there's my color now, all right? Now it's going to show me first a complementary color theme. Complementary means colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Complementary color schemes, if my color scheme on my website, one of my primary colors is a purple lavender. Look, I happen to know because I've studied color theory. The opposite to that is orange. I would never really choose orange, but when I took it into peach, I'm really liking my website with those two, complementary colors. They say, I don't know, I like that. I would prefer a monochromatic. Now, Tracy's book color is monochromatic. What does that mean? It takes basically one shade of blue and gives us different variants, all right? And you see it gives me these 2 variants on that monochromatic scheme. Now, if I want an analogous scheme, those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So next to blue on the color wheel, look here, is purple, right? And the blue next to it is green, right? So this has given me a blue, a purple, and a green. And I will tell you probably when I design Tracy's website, if she agrees, we're going to use a little bit of lavender and maybe a little bit of green to give it some light. Monochromatic schemes on a book cover are beautiful, but there's a different use. I'm not just going to look at it on the screen on a book cover. I'm going to look at it on the screen. And you know, looking at a book and looking at a screen are 2 very different things. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to finish here. This also will give me a triadic scheme which is 3 colors. It gives me the purple, kind of a raspberry, and a pukey green. I don't care for that, okay? And then it's going to give me tetradic. Those of you that know Latin, that's 4 colors, right? Okay, so it gives me a little different green, and it throws in kind of a, I don't know, mud brown. I don't know. I don't really care for this so much. But one of the nice things you can do here, say you love that, and you're like, that's perfect for me, all right? We can here export this palette to a PDF. Almost all of these will do it. And guess what they're going to show me? It shows me the hex code of all those colors, and it gives them to me in 2 different forms. Now, when I look at colors on my computer monitor, those of you that are as old as me and remember when they first came out, remember the RGB monitor? RGB means what? Does anybody know?
Red, green, blue.
Thank you, red, green, blue. It uses red, green, and blue. It's called cathode ray tubes to create color. All right. So when I'm working on a website, I want to know the RGB value of that color. And this blue we chose has RGB 185 red, 206 green, 216 blue. All right. So if I want this color to come up exactly on my website, I will either use the hex code or the RGB value. But how many of you also know that color has a different way in print? If it goes through a printer, it comes out in Cmyk. It uses, those of you that have done what I do, and you use those little inkjets in your printer. What does it give you? It gives you C for cyan, M for magenta, Y for yellow, and K for black. So it makes colors. And when you send like a brochure to a printer, their printers use those 4 colors to make whatever color is printed. And I tell you, an RGB color value looks very different sometimes from a Cmyk value. And so I need to send stuff for print in Cmyk. Well, if they're looking at my website, I want them to see this blue. But if they're looking at my book cover, I want them to see this blue. I will send to my printer Cmyk value 14 cyan, 5 magenta, 0 yellow. There's no yellow in that color, and 15 in black. Anybody know, this is Rhonda's quiz, what I would do if I wanted a darker version of that color? Which number would I increase?
Black.
Black.
The black. If you throw black onto that color, it's going to get darker, right?
It's interesting to me that the black is the highest number on all 4 of those when they are such pastel colors.
Isn't that funny? But 15 is not very much black.
I guess
15
not.
represents how much black, not in comparison to the other colors. But Johnny, that's a very sharp question, okay? So I would find my color scheme that way using Canva. But it's not as specific, because if you're like me, I want choices. I'm a control freak. I want to know what color I want to choose on that picture, what color I want. So I'm going to take you next to a website called Coolors, and it's spelled weird, C-O-O-L-O-R-S.
I actually already put that in the chat for you.
Okay. It looks like colors with an extra O. Who wants to mess with words? I don't know, but they did. So here we go. But they say, oh, I can generate a color. So see this blue button here? Start the generator. Let's just start the generator and see what happens here. Well, it just generated its own little color. But look, I'm like, well, what did you generate that from? Well, who knows? But that gives me a color scheme. See these 5 colors? I want to do my own thing. So here's, I don't know why they hide the best features. If I was designing a program or website, I give you my best features, right? But see this little button that says more in the down caret, it says pick a palette from a photo. That's me. All right, here it comes. It says browse an image. And I'm going to go out and get Tracy's image from my file here. I'm going to open it, and there it is. And there's my color theme. What do you see? Do you see what I see? But we've got the same colors. Like 3 of them here in the middle of the same colors. I'm like, okay, see there's a dot here. That's giving me my primary color. Now, because I designed Tracy's book cover, I know I want this down here at the bottom. It is a single color to be my primary color. All right. Now, when you're designing a color scheme, you've got to think light, medium, and dark tones. This is what I would call a medium tone. So let's get a light tone. Somebody suggests to me a light tone in here. Well, here it comes up here. Look at this tone. Well, wait a minute. I need to click in the next box, the dot, and see it's gone to my text color. But I see a really nice, pretty light color over here. And see, as I'm moving that, do you see what's happening? Can you see that on your screen? It's just going everywhere as I move this little dot, and there is a very nice lighter color. All right. And I'm going to go to the third color here. Now I want a dark color. And you know what? It's chosen my font color. I'm going to leave that. But I'm going to go to the next one, and it's giving me 5. And I know, because I've studied this photo, there's a little bitty hint of a lavender in here. If I can, oh, there it was. It went fast. If I can find it, right there, well, this kind of goes a little wonky. I can find it over here too. Anyway, I'm going to just, this can drive you just a little nuts. Trying to find that lavender. There it is. I'm going to let it go. That's kind of a gray lavender, all right? And then this last color, I'm going to go with another fairly dark color. There's a beautiful teal in here that's different enough from the first color that there would be a contrast. So I say, okay, I like that. Maybe you don't like that. I like that. Okay, maybe Tracy won't like that because I'm going to run this by her. Don't worry, Tracy. We're going to run it by you. But if I wanted that to be my website color scheme, guess what I do? I export it. Okay. First of all, I'm going to view it. And there it's giving me the colors. I'm saying, okay. But now I want to open it. Now, wait a minute. I want to save it. No. I've played with these tools so much that I am getting cross-eyed. There it is. All right. That was save it in the generator, that color generator. And there it gives me my colors. I hope you can see them. They're big, long stripes of colors. It gives me the hex code 8EB7C6, and it named it. That's irrelevant. But you see this right now. When I, hang on, it wants me to do MailChimp. When I export it, and by the way, folks, anything you use for free, there's going to be ads. All right, just get used to it. See this option here to export the palette? I'm going to export it to a PDF, and I'm going to name it Tracy. And what I can do then is save this on my computer. And when it comes up, it gives me this beautiful PDF. Can you see this? Mm-hmm. It gives you all 5 colors. It gives you the hex code of each color, gives you the RGB value of each color. It gives you the HSB, whatever on earth that is, but it gives me the Cmyk color too, right? And then I can save this on my computer. When I'm designing a website, this is what I do. I get these colors and I will make buttons. The hover color, the main color, I will use them in the banner. I will choose the font and text colors. I will choose the backgrounds in behind. Sometimes I'll choose a color background and I'll layer white text on it because that gives me, but I know then what colors I'm using, and those colors will be consistent throughout my website. All right. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to try real hard to leave time for some questions. There is another tool that I quickly want to take you to just to show you in case you are so ambitious. It's called Peloton. And this is in your website. So, you know, I copied my hex code. See this color wheel right here? It lets me put in my base color. Control V for paste. And there's a palette. Do you see this palette? It is monochromatic blue, variations of that color that I put in. If I would prefer to see analogous colors that are next to each other, look, it threw in my purple that I really like, and it threw in a green, which is okay. And there's different tones of this green. If I hover my mouse, it tells me what hex code for that color. Say, okay, I want complementary colors. Guess what it did? It threw in a peach and a yellow, right? I like blue and yellow together, by the way. And here is what they call a tetrad or 4-color theme. Now, Peloton does something really interesting that nobody else does. Down here, it will let me see examples of those colors. That's nice. But it will also give me a preview. Hang on here. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, my palette. See this up here? If I click on this, dun-dee-dee-dum, presets. There it is. Presets at the bottom brings up this color scheme. Look at there it is in a light pastel. Here it is in a bright pastel. Did you see the shift? Here it is in a dark pastel. Do you see how the colors change? So you can go in here and look at those same 4 colors in different variations, and you can get the hex codes out of that. All right. So let's go back. Let's say I'm writing romance. I want these light pastel colors. I export them. Oh, there they are. I can save these. Now, I haven't seen a way to do this, but I can save it as HTML. It opens up a window that I can bookmark on my browser that gives me the hex codes of these colors. Okay. If you want to learn Peloton, there is a learning curve. There's lots of tutorials out there on YouTube how to use Peloton. Now, we have just a few minutes left. I want to explain to you how you can use a photo to generate a color scheme. You see right here what we did with Tracy's. Here's her photo, and there's her color scheme. I want to take you to another website I've done recently. It's called Custom Music Creations. This is my brother. He's a composer. And he built this website. I didn't build the website, but I helped him to design his logo. And he found, let's see here. I'm going to want you to see his whole banner. He found this very cool picture, oops, and I helped him to find it. And it's got a keyboard and all kinds of cool stuff going on there. And you can't really see it. Let me see if I can size it out a little bit. There it is, a little bit. See, it's got this orange and this teal and so forth. And I used it to create this logo for him, right? So it's got the black because it's kind of moody. I pulled out this teal and the orange, all right? And so there's his color scheme. Very simple. White, black, teal, and orange. And that works for him. Here's another website I did recently. This is for a ministry in North Carolina, ministry I just love, that ministers to women who have had abortions or stillbirth or have lost a baby. It's called Rachel's Cry. And she sent me this photo, which was original artwork to her. And if you see, it's monochromatic, just all kind of grays. So I just went from there. I took that burnt sienna type color and I used color theory. I'm taking kind of a color that's near it, this orangey peachy color. I found this picture of the little baby feet that helped me figure out that peachy color. I threw in a teal. And then we've got this lighter kind of purpley color. Why? Because I chose that orangey peachy color. And what I did for her website, and guess what? Here, did you see how lovely that is? Look, I loved this. I didn't even know it was going to happen. But that's about the color she's wearing in her headshot. Hello? Wear your color and get a good headshot for your website, right? And I'm using it in her blog. Pictures, here's another drawing she had, and so forth, okay? So her website is drawn from the color scheme, and it really, I think, evokes the right mood for her website. Now I have, as usual, I have about twice as much to say as I have time to say it. But I just want to encourage you, and I'll let Tracy come in if she has any comments about any of this. I really want to encourage you. I'm going to stop my screen share right now. Well, first of all, take one more look at Tracy's book cover, and I'll just tell you, this is the fabulous book. I have read this book. I have a copy of this book, and many of you know I received a back injury. So boy, do I want health, healing, and wholeness. This is 31 devotionals. It's coming out in June. Highly recommend it for anyone you know who is going through or struggling with any kind of illness. It's such a great topic for right now. It's coming out by Crosslink Publications, June the 1st. And you can visit Tracy's website and get on her newsletter list. This is a fabulous book. And there you see those nice colors. We're going to draw those colors out. And I'll let you know here in Writer's Chat when we have launched her new site, so you can see what changes it makes in her brand. All right, that's enough, Rhonda. Does anybody have a question?
Something we were discussing in the chat was checking colors for good contrast for people that might be colorblind, and that's something that Coolers does as well, so that if you choose colors that are somewhat close together, they won't blur together.
That's right. And contrast is really important. One of the most common mistakes I see on websites is people don't give enough contrast. They'll use that dark teal and they'll put black print on it. I can't see that, yeah. Right? And sometimes if there's not enough contrast, I will add a shadow to the text to make it pop off of that a little bit. But best off to think light text on dark colors, dark text on light colors. And contrast is really important for people who have vision problems.
Something else oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the links that Melissa is putting in the chat right now are places that you can buy licenses for photographs. Some of them are pretty expensive. Pond 5, I saw a beautiful licensed image, $11, and you could use it on your book cover. Okay, wow. So it doesn't have to be expensive. Be sure what kind of license you're buying, and that you get an image that is licensable for you to print and distribute. Okay, and if you have more questions about that, all these websites coach you on what type of license. So she said Pond 5, Shutterstock, that's where I got Tracy's image. Dreams Time is another good one where you can purchase an image. And besides purchasing images, you can purchase music. You can purchase videos if you're making a video trailer. I love Pond 5. I would camp on Pond 5. If somebody didn't, bring me lunch, I would be there for sure. So if you're ever looking for me, Rhonda's on Pond 5. So that's that. Does anybody else have a question?
I was just wondering if you could speak real briefly to choosing colors to target your gender audience. So like some of your audience might be male, some might be female, and the colors you choose may decide whether or not your target audience comes or goes or stays.
There are gender associations with colors. I mean, Jan talked about pink being feminine, and you'll see some pink and peachy and pastels on my website. So there are, and blue we affiliate with men, but blue, you can't strictly categorize things, okay? If I use a lot of pastels and a pink on my website, men may very well be turned off, right? On the other hand, I may be appealing to their feminine side, okay? The important thing to me is that I'm representing me and I'm representing what I write. And hopefully the audience that wants what I write will be attracted to my website if it's genre appropriate. Hope that answers that. Tracy, did you want to say something?
I do. I want to say that you give me a lot of credit for the creation of my website and my book cover, but you are the genius. Rhonda is the genius behind it all. I cannot envision anything once I see it, I can tweak and say, no, I like this better here, this better here. But Rhonda has that ability, which I think is a rare gift, to envision things before they're even reality. I think that's a God gift. So I just want to say, I think she is excellent in what she does.
Well, thank you, Tracy. Can you tell we're the Mutual Admiration Society? We're in the same critique group, and she's become a mentor and a good friend to me. And I love collaborating with her. I will tell you something else. If you are working with a graphic designer and you send them pictures of something you like, this is something Tracy did for me. I'm like, okay, I begin to envision what she's saying, right? You send me a website that you like. I love this site. Then I can go in and pick apart the technical part of it. Some of it is color, some of it is fonts, some of it is organization, some of it is structure, right? But if she sends me, say, I like this, or I like my website, because imagine build me a website. Where do we start, right? It's almost impossible to know where to start. So giving your designer a starting point will save time. And for me, I only work by the hour anymore. Saving time saves money. Okay, so if you want to save money, you do a little research on your own and then present those ideas to your designer, and you'll save some money.
Good advice.
It is good advice. Well, Rhonda and Jann, thank you both for sharing this information. This was really wonderful. I loved hearing about what all the colors meant and the connotations that they have, and then seeing some really technical ways to go about pulling a website together. That was wonderful. Everybody can come back in, but we've only got a couple minutes. Brandy, why don't you tell us about the next 2 weeks coming up?
Sure. Next week, we will be discussing the basics of Scrivener, where I will introduce the Scrivener interface so that it's not so foreign in case you want to look at it for your writing, because it's a versatile program that you can use for more than just writing. And then the week after that, I will be going into some more advanced parts of Scrivener to get into different ways you can use Scrivener for more than just writing, and more features within it that you can really use to help you as you go about your writing. And for that, I will probably be asking after the initial basics class if there are any specific things you would like me to maybe address in that second class. But that's what we'll be doing for the next couple of weeks.
Scrivener.
Scrivener.
It's a wonderful tool, but
I'm looking forward to that.
Learning. Yes, yeah, it's got a learning curve, so it's great.
It does.
Brandy showing us how to do it.
And this was something some people have asked about, you know, and asked us that we'd present more. So Brandy, we really appreciate you offering to kind of walk us through a little bit more. It's kind of scary. So thank you.
It is.
You're welcome.
Scary.
It does have a large learning curve. So now that I've gotten through the majority of that, I'm happy to share what I've learned.
We're glad to have you do that too. And I'm glad to see Jeannie pop in. Glad you can make it. And just thank you for everyone who was here today. If you're watching the replay, we thank you for doing that. Ask that you join us anytime you're free to do so on Tuesday mornings, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. We're here almost every Tuesday morning. And you can check all of our replays on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page and group. And you're invited to join that too. So until next week, everybody, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.